Yeah, I'm so extra. Express myself, I'm next up. Yeah, what more do you say? Coming up. Yeah. Come on, come up now. Stop me. You coming up.
Hey, we're back. It's Tuesday.
She's back.
I'm here. Okay. I must say, I want to wait till people get on so they can know that we are here, so they can hear me say what I have to say to my girl Mo. You know, I want to start calling you Mo like everybody else because I like that. Is that cool?
Exactly. Listen, my friends call me Mo, so absolutely.
Okay. I made it to the friends list. Y'all have made it to the friends list.
Yes. Look, and we still ain't met.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? I know. But I want to say that I missed you so much last week. Oh my goodness. I
You
was
were
at,
so missed.
oh my God. I was like thinking about you the entire time. Like, oh my God, I wonder how the show's going. And I wanted to get on there. But what I did, you know, we're all about family and we have children and we want to be there and support them. And my daughter at her school, they were having a Black History program. And when I tell you this show was phenomenal, oh my God, I have never
Really?
seen an elementary school Black History program like this ever. They did tributes to Motown. They did went through all the fraternities and sororities, and they shout out, you know, HBCUs. My daughter, she was with which sorority was she with? Oh my God, I can't even remember. But they went through each and every one of them and had something going on, and it was so great. It was really
That sounds
fun.
phenomenal. That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, people are
Well,
still talking
I
about
had a great time here, although I definitely missed you. Dion
it.
was an absolute gem.
Okay.
Um, I'm telling you, like I said, storytelling to the nth degree. I learned so much, and it was so funny because just the other day, something came up in conversation, and I was able to share the information that she shared on the show. And I was like,
Nice.
"Did you even know that?" And they were like, "No way." I was like, you gotta go to UGR 3 day, okay? That the
Okay.
UGR3day.com. I said, book yourself. And I said, oh, that's remind you, actually. That's what I'm doing for my birthday. She is having an experience at a winery down here that used to be a plantation, but then it is
Oh,
also talking about how slaves used to sell and make wine.
really?
Yes, to both black and white people during slavery.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited. So, yeah, the website, that's what
Interesting.
I'm doing to kick off my birthday next month.
Okay. But wait a minute. Okay, Friday is the 10th, right? Isn't there
Yes.
something going on your way on the 10th? That was
Yes.
what's going
Yes, yes, yes. The sneaker ball for
on?
yes, for Central Delaware. I say CDCDP. It's kind of hard. The Central Delaware Community Doula Program. Is
Right.
doing
Okay.
the fundraiser sneaker ball. So yes, definitely go to dedoulas.com and buy
Okay.
tickets. If you use the promo code, I think promo codes will still get you a $35 ticket, which is discounted right now. You can use, I believe it's either Mo or Morgan is my discount code to
Okay.
be able to do that. But yeah, that starts at 7. That's in Dover.
Okay.
That'll be. I was like, that'll be posted on my page so people can be able to,
Awesome.
find it.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I was thinking, I'm like, the 10th, something is going on the 10th. And I knew we had talked about it on the show, but I could not remember. We talked about so much since the end of January.
I know, and I'm so
Oh,
excited about today. Hello, Jackie. By the way, hello, hello, hello.
hey, Jackie. So, all right, our guest today, I want to let you introduce them, but everyone's seen the flyer. I'm excited, but I think I'm even more excited because we get to be included in the discussion panel today. So that's going to be cool. Just open women from a woman's perspective on today. So it should be
Yes.
great. It should be
I
great.
know. I'm excited. I'm excited. So yes, um, both of these women are absolutely phenomenal. One, I just had the pleasure of meeting recently. And when I first met her, her presence just kind of blew me away. And it's like a silent kind of, blow you away.
Mhm.
But then the more I've gotten to know her and, have, conversations in inbox and, we're in a couple of different, groups and stuff. She's a wealth of information. We align on so many, levels and stuff. And I'm just excited, for her journey and stuff. And so that is one of our guests. That's Jordan.
Okay.
And then we have Jaleesa. Jaleesa, I had the pleasure of meeting almost 4 years ago.
Mhm.
Her and I worked a private event called The Playlist.
Okay.
And we kind of just clicked and went on from there. So she is, a friend, but she is also, a fellow cook and baker
Okay.
and business owner. So
Got to
yes,
love
and that's
the
Jaleesa.
sweets. Got to
Yeah.
love the sweets. Hi. Welcome,
Jordan, hey
welcome,
Jordan.
welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So we are so excited to have you on and being a part of this open panel discussion. And I saw a little bit of extra what you sent to Morgan that she sent to us in the group about all the things that you do. And there's one thing, and I'm not going to jump into it right now, but I was reading, and I was like, oh, wow, that looks interesting. I want to ask about that. I want to know more about that. So welcome to the show. We're so happy that you took time out of your schedule to be with us and grace us with your presence. And we it's going to be laid back. We're going to discuss. There's going to be questions. People are going to be putting things in the chat, and we're just going to go. How about that?
That sounds great.
Sounds like
I'm
a
so
plan.
excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just go on into the questions and get going.
Sure. So I went to school for computer engineering and started my career in technical project management. And although I really enjoy all of the technical skills, my heart really wasn't in that line of work. So I used that set of skills to start a business that focused on branding and design for holistic wellness businesses. And the more I did that, the more I found myself attracted to the work that they were doing. So I spent a year or two just kind of diving completely into holistic wellness, learning about herbs, learning about nutrition. And through that, I developed a specific affinity for women's health and for the birthing year. And so now I am a birth worker. I am a doula and a perinatal educator. That's
Yes.
how I met Mo. Yes. And I'm also a student midwife.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I want to know more
I'm
about
so
that.
excited. That's so exciting.
Yes,
Because
that's a
you
new
are
thing
that-
for me.
Yeah. Well, that is amazing. And one thing that you said that stuck out to me is you went down one path, but your heart wasn't in it. And that is so key and so vital to us being successful, especially as women, because I know years ago we were just pushed into this is what you need to do. You need to be a housewife, or you need to have kids, and then you need to do this and do that. But we never got a chance to just be our own and do those things that we want to do. So the fact that you recognize, okay, this was good for then, I want to take these skills and put it towards something that I really, really love. And I think a lot more people are getting more into the holistic care, for people in general, because medicine nowadays, you just don't know what's really going on without you putting more toxins and negative things into your body as opposed to doing it the natural way. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And also this student midwife, because I know that is her path, and she is
Yes.
on her way to that. So one of my children, well, two of my kids were delivered by midwives. So I love midwives. They're fun. Like they're a lot more laid back than the actual OBs. So like, you calm down, let me get a midwife. I'm good. Thank you.
We need that on a shirt, Jordan. Calm down. Let me get a midwife.
Right.
Yes, we really do.
Oh, right. So you've been in the field doing things like this for how long now?
So I started doing birth work really full time in October. That's when I joined the Parent Information Center and I was able to join their community doula and perinatal education program full time. So that's been my project and goal since then.
Mhm.
Before that, I was just kind of working on training and learning more about the space and just kind of slowly moving into it. But I got the opportunity to do it full time in October. So that's been wonderful.
Wow, that's amazing. That's good. I'm sure there are so many families that are grateful to have you to come in and help, just like they are with Mo. Yeah, it takes a special grace to be able to do that. I don't know that. Yeah, I couldn't add anything else to my plate. I'm good. I just leave it
Like
to
I
God.
said,
That's
she
all.
was like, when I say just like silent, like just powerhouse presence, like it just radiates off of.
Mm,
She was actually sitting in front of me the first day, and it was just very noticeable. She had, I don't know what, I don't remember what it was you said to me, but you turned around and you said something, and I was like, wow. Like there was, I don't know, that was a great class in general. Like there was a whole lot of just great energy, just a lot of just goodness all the
mm.
way around. But yeah, I can't, I'm excited for your midwifery journey. When I saw that, I like jumped out of I was actually laying in the bed and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited for you. Like that is so exciting. I am in the middle of looking up midwifery assistant programs right now. So I was like, I'm going to take, a more slower approach only so that I can make sure that, my oldest and my youngest, I kind of get them in a rhythm because I'm going to start homeschooling. And so for me, I want to kind of take that. So I'm going to, doula for a bit, definitely get some things underneath my belt and then start, that way. But I am like super excited for your journey. Like I can't wait to, compare notes and, you never know. By the time you're done, look, I could possibly have a mentor if you're open. But like I'm so excited for you in this book. And then let's talk about this herbalist bit.
Yes, let's do that.
Yes.
Yes, explain that. Let's get deep into that. I want to know because I might have to do some switching up in my life. You teach me.
Exactly. Look, for exactly like for me, I cook with herbs, so I'm intentional that way. But a lot of people don't know that you can use herbs in other ways. So I guess talk a little bit about that, your path, what you're trying to do with that.
So, my first real introduction to holistic wellness was through herbalism. That's one of the first books I got was from Rosemary Gladstar. And that just kind of introduced me to the entire world of herbalism. And I fell in love. There's just a wealth of knowledge. And there's also this element of energy that's not found in traditional health that is just so attractive to me. So that was the first thing I sort of studied. And for a year, when I was making the transition from being a business owner to working in holistic health, I was employed as a wellness associate at the Newark Natural Foods Co-op. So I got to live, breathe, and eat herbs for a year full time. And I really was able to expand my knowledge through that experience and develop some contacts and really get a feel for the legal landscape too, which is really important because unless you are some other type of healthcare practitioner that's licensed, you have to be really careful with the advice that you give because you can move into practicing medicine without a license, which is really something that you don't want to get yourself involved in.
Right.
So there is a really prominent organization in the United States. They're the American Herbalist Guild, and they have something called Registered Herbalist, which is what I'm pursuing right now. And it's not a license, it's not a certification, really. What it is just a professional marker that you've studied for 800 hours on herbal topics. You've spent 400 hours in kind of clinical practice with people recommending herbs and designing programs to meet their specific needs. So that's what I'm working towards right now. And what I hope to do is combine that with my midwifery practice when that comes to fruition. Yeah, because then I will be a healthcare provider. So I'll have a lot more leeway with what I'm able to recommend and the things that I'm able to do.
You
Wow.
are so dope. So dope. I love this. Oh my gosh, I love this.
That is amazing. So you study now these hours that you do. So it's 800 and 400 in addition, like in a clinical setting. So along with in a business. So how is that? So what exactly do you, as far as the herbs, how do you get deep into the discussion or the studying with that? What all do you go into?
So there are some programs where you can sign up and have someone walk you through all of the different elements that they recommend, because they have different categories of education that they like to see a certain amount of hours in. But what I'm doing is the self-study pathway. So every time I study something related to the body or anatomy, I record those hours. Every time I study something that works towards a specific system or to foraging or botany, I record those hours under that category. And so I'm slowly moving in a self-study way towards getting that 800 hours. And then for the 400 clinical hours, the goal would be for me to find a mentor that is either already registered or has an established herbal practice, and to work under them and in combination with them to make recommendations and really learn how to be an herbalist.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
don't
our
worry,
other
I will help
guest,
you with clientele.
so our other guest has joined us. Hi.
Yes.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
finally here. I'm so sorry. I'm sitting up here busy. My last couple of clients are coming through, but
That is okay. Story of our lives, right?
yes, it's been a long day. But I'm finally getting a chance to sit down.
We are happy to have you on here. And
Thank you for having me.
we went ahead and got them started a little bit just to kind of get things going. But what we want to do, because we want you to be included in the conversation and discussion in our panel for tonight, just kind of give us a little bit about you and what you do, and then we're just gonna add you right on in, and we're gonna keep going.
Okay, my name is Jaleesa. I'm 34. I have 2 children. I'm married. I've been cooking since the age of 9. I don't necessarily have a cuisine that I specialize in. Like, I literally dibble dabble in everything, but I'm known for Asian cuisine. Um, I do meal prep, private chef. I just love food all the way around. Like, that's what I live for. Like, put the nearest food spot. Like, the most dingiest places have the best food. Like, I'm definitely a foodie, and I
And
eat.
that's true. That is true. If it looks run down, oh yeah, you're gonna eat really good.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Um,
okay. So we're talking about this herbalism and finding out about the herbs, which I'm quite interested in. But we do have a few questions that we're going to pose to each one of you ladies. We're actually all going to discuss. Well, actually, the 3 of you are going to discuss it. I'm just going to sit here and listen and soak it all in. Don't look like that, Mo. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're not going to do that. So I wanted to ask about the person that you would be under up to learn about the herbs. So how is the practice? Do you have a lot of people that are really interested that come to and learn more about it to try to incorporate it into their lives? How does that work?
So I think the most productive way I've seen this done is in a community herbal practice where there's an herbalist and then they'll have apprentices under them. And then people from the community will come in, describe their specific challenges, their needs, and then they'll work together with the herbalist to formulate a holistic approach and path for them to move forward. So they'll look at nutrition, look at movement, look at sleep, look at different herbs that they could use to complement all of those things, and then slowly help that person incorporate that into their life. Because the great thing about herbs is that they're really powerful, but they usually work best in conjunction with something else. So if you don't already have those pillars established, herbs can only take you so far.
Okay.
Absolutely. I tell people, especially those who come to me for meal prep, even when it comes to food, if your gut base isn't pure, it's kind of pointless for us to be doing a lot of good work with good quality foods because you can't even absorb the nutrients that, are there. So, we've got to come back and get that gut lining first. We got to clear out what's going on before we can really be more intentional about what we put in. So, that's something that can go, across the board. Smack asked, she said, do you use any Dr. Sebi's remedies, or have you created any yourself?
I haven't used any of Dr. Sebi's remedies. I have heard his story, and it's something that I want to learn more about, but it's something I haven't explored a lot at this point in time. As far as remedies that I've created for myself, I wouldn't necessarily say that I have one specific one. There are just different blends and herbs and essential oils that I've incorporated into my routine at different stages in my life to facilitate something. Like, for example, clary sage is something that I use a lot in essential oil form because I have a lot of menstrual and reproductive issues. So that has been really helpful for me, using that essential oil like right before my cycle, right after it. But that might not necessarily be the case for everyone else. So that's another thing that I really try to stay away from. And why working with an herbalist is so important is because what works for me, what might not work for you. Herbalism is so individualized, and that's also one of the things that makes it so superior to a lot of other forms and programs because we're all so unique. Yeah.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm like real country, like down home fishing and all of that. But for years we've been swearing by onion cough syrup, like, and it's the most simplest thing, like knock out the most commonest cold, like cut up a few onions and then put a couple tablespoons of water and cover it with some sugar, put something heavy on it, let it sit for 2 or 3 days, and then pour the syrup off there. You'd be right back in 2-3 days.
Really? I have never heard that. And I'm
Yes.
from the South. Never heard that. Wow.
Onion and garlic are great. They are awesome
amazing.
Antimicrobials. Yes.
And ginger.
Definitely.
So Mo, you said something about the gut health, and I know that, from being in the medical field and how, our gut is so important and can cause so many health issues. And if you can't absorb anything if your gut isn't right. So what do you suggest? What do you guys suggest as far as clearing that out? I actually went several years ago and had a colonic done. That was like it wasn't bad. It was just the weirdest experience of my life. Like
that's what I hear from everyone.
Is the weird come from the fact that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was carrying all that around?
Right. But I felt so weak afterwards. And I was literally sitting in the clinician's office, like slumped over. And he said he had to give me this little cup of electrolytes to take, kind of give me a little energy. I'm like, man, I was really, really messed up.
Oh, they tried to dehydrate you.
Right. Yeah. So, wow. Okay. So, what do you suggest? Something may not as drastic as that.
I've been drinking this detox tea by Yogi or Yogi. I don't know how you pronounce it. Bedtime tea too, and that's pretty good. But the detox tea is like, it doesn't make you like. It's not like a laxative, but it makes it comfortable to go. But you're definitely going
to. Yeah. I need something not as invasive as that. Less invasive. Yeah,
so I actually follow loosely a diet that was recommended by a nutritionist to kind of really help clear out the colon, because most people who are walking around that gut that they all think is fat is actually poop. And so in high school, because I went to a 5-day boarding school and I was like super shy about going to the bathroom. So I was the person who would just wait until I got home, which obviously is not a very healthy thing to do.
No.
And so, my doctor's like, you are way too young to have a gut like this. So,
Oh, wow.
besides like helping to actually massage my colon to loosen up and, to actually help me, because, like, to be 100% honest, if you feel the 4 quadrants of your stomach and you push on them, if it hurts, that means your colon's impacted with poop. Like, that's real. And until you get to a place where now it's malleable and it's not hurting, then you've pretty much cleared out. So there are definitely certain foods that you can be able to eat. But the major thing is the combination of not eating starches and proteins together. That's just a huge no, which like kind of throws our whole everything off, right? What about a sandwich? What about spaghetti and meatballs? Like, you just, what? But neither one of them are actually meant to be broken down together in the gut.
Wow.
So if you're going to eat a protein, and I'm talking about more like animal protein, not like your protein that you get from, your kales, your spinaches, your leafy greens, your legumes, not those, but your actual meat proteins, those you eat with vegetables. And then with your starches, you eat those with vegetables as well. And that is something that, honestly, if you just adapt as a regular way of eating, and you are, consistently eating things that are purposeful for gut clearing, as well as just, for help metabolism, kickstarting, like cayenne pepper. It doesn't have to be super hot, but that's an amazing spice that really does amazing things to the metabolism. So yeah, and you can use that in something as easy as like a salad dressing.
Okay.
And boom, now you've ingested it during the day. You know what I mean? So I was like, I have different things in meal prep like that. So where you can be able to eat like that to kind of help clear out. And then from there, you can, build up a different kind of thing. But if you keep that premise, you'll never feel like, oh, I need to be, either trying to get this weight off or feeling kind of sluggish. It's a very, healthy elimination process.
You definitely can feel weight difference, because I used to be 300 pounds.
Oh, wow. Hello, Raphael. He says,
hello. So yes, we had a couple people say some things. Yes, listen, Pierre said my parents used to put onions on our bodies, especially under our feet. Yep. That's actually a very, very good thing. You can actually open up, and I urge any teachers that are possibly listening, cut some onions in your classroom and leave them overnight. When you leave, when you come back in the morning, the onions would have absorbed all of the bacteria that's in the room, especially during flu season. That's why you never, if you cut an onion, make sure you cover it back up and put it somewhere. If you leave it out on the counter, don't, because it will absorb all the toxins and everything that's in the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of what she's talking about, but those are some nasty looking onions. Those
are nasty looking onions when they come off of people's feet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So actually, you can do a lot of detoxing out of your feet.
Really? I've heard that, but I'm like, yeah, do I want to try that? But I'm almost intrigued. Yeah, I might have to do that. Black seed oil. What about black seed oil? Raphael says black seed oil.
Yes.
What about that?
Black seed oil is, from what I use it for and what I've studied it for, is as an antiviral. So every time I feel myself getting sick, I will take a dose of black seed oil every day until I start to feel better. And since I started doing that about a year ago, I've definitely noticed a difference in the length of time that I'm sick when I start that protocol.
Wow.
My partner actually does oregano oil, and oregano oil is great for just a nice immune base. And she said anytime something, even, oh, let me go. Take a little bit of this. And she said she's never sick. That's the one thing she isn't sick.
I love the idea of oregano oil, but I cannot stand the taste of it. And I've tried like capsules, gummies. It's just too much for me.
Yeah, okay. So then what you do is do it raw as an herb, or dry it up and just intentionally put it in the food. Same difference. Look, as long as we get it in there, right? That's the point.
Wow. Smack says, what is good for very, very dry skin, aka psoriasis? there what herbs for that?
So psoriasis is a little bit different because it's an autoimmune condition.
Yeah, and you want
So
to make sure that's exactly what it is too before you start treating it, because I dealt with something like half a year ago that was, I can't even remember the name of it. It's called the Christmas tree rash, and it
Oh,
literally like starts off in like one blotch, and then it literally covers your whole body. And when I say itch to death, like I literally wore long sleeves all summer. Like
wow.
it was horrible. Like it was horrible.
So did they ever find out what triggered it or where it came from?
It actually is just something that people get. It can affect ages from 10 to 34, I believe it was, and I had
Mm,
just missed the mark, and it is just like it's literally like patches all over. You get them everywhere except for your face. Like you
okay.
don't get them on your like below your knees, but it
Wow. Oh
like
my.
it's horrible. So, but I mean,
That's
it lasts for like 3 to 4 months. But the only thing you really can do is literally like keep yourself Vaseline down, calamine lotion, like, and you have to take like a prescription to stop like the itching from inside out. But
oh,
it's
oh
yeah, that's why I make sure that's what it is, because you
wow. Ooh,
might not be
that sounds
psoriasis.
like a lot to deal with right
It's
there.
yeah, it literally started out in 3 spots. Like I literally took pictures of like how it progressed. Like
Right, right.
it, I look like a
Wow.
cheetah.
Oh my goodness. So Pierce asked, is cinnamon actually a drug?
Yeah.
So cinnamon is not a drug in its raw form, or really, it's not a drug. It's not a pharmaceutical. There may be pharmaceuticals derived from it, but it's a plant. It can be used for metabolic health, and the extract sometimes people find is really effective for helping to balance blood sugar. But no, it's not a drug.
Mhm.
So if y'all haven't figured it out, this is Health and Wellness Month. So we're talking all about health and wellness. But Jaleesa, I want to ask you this. What got you into cooking and baking? Was it, family thing, or is just something that you just developed an affinity
I've
for?
always been in the kitchen with my grandmother helping cook or do something. Like every time we have something, like it's always at my grandmother's house. I'm always the helper in the kitchen. But I remember the first time I was ever influenced by Asian cuisine was we were in kindergarten and they read us like this sushi book, and the teachers made what they thought was their version of sushi. And like ever since then, like I have literally been hooked. Like I eat sushi like 3 times a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
wow.
really good.
So your grandmother influenced you. She helped to push you and groom you into doing what you
Yes.
do.
And
Wow.
cakes, I wanted to go to the Culinary Institute of America, but then got pregnant with my daughter and I decided not to go. But kind of glad I didn't, because I realized cakes is just like a hobby. It's not, yeah, that's not what I really wanted to do. Like I just want to cook
Right,
if I
right.
had to choose. But like everybody says, it's hard to find somebody that actually does cooking and baking and decorating and all of that. So
Hmm.
it has its advantages.
Yeah. What about you, Jordan? Who has influenced you? What influenced you to go where anybody into the direction that you're in?
Oh goodness, that's a really good question.
Yay! I like that. Get people to thinking.
I have had so many different mentors throughout my life. So I'm really grateful for all of the input and experience and wisdom that I've been able to glean from them. If I had to pick one person specifically, I would say my mother-in-law, because she is the person that really it encourages me to go for it all the time. And in my life, if there's something that I want to go after and no one else really sees it at that point, she sees it for me and she believes in me. So she kind of
Mhm.
helps me along with that entrepreneurial spirit and encouraging that passion in me. So I'm really grateful for her.
Can
So
we just talk for a second? Because you said your mother-in-law.
Right.
I
Okay.
was thinking
And
the
the
same
average,
thing. Like,
I was gonna say the average person and their in-laws, that can be a very touchy subject at times.
yeah,
So
I
right.
love my mother-in-law.
So
So
that's
But that is good.
she is the first person that I called to say that I was going to be on this podcast.
nice.
Yeah, I met her obviously through her son, who I'm engaged to, but I've known her for 10 years and she's always been my cheerleader. And I'm so grateful for her. She's like a second mother to me.
oh,
That's
very
really sweet.
Yeah.
Shout out to your mother-in-law.
right. Shout out to
Is she
her.
watching?
I think so, if she was able to figure out where to tune in, but if not, she'll pick it up later.
She'll watch it later, and she'll still be just as proud as if she were watching it live. Wow.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we talked
That's
about
so
the
awesome.
holistic health portion, but let's go. Let's kind of shift a little bit here. So, Lisa, what is your perspective of womanhood? What would be your definition and your perspective on womanhood in how things are today?
My definition of womanhood of what we think today. I think that you have to get to a certain point of um understanding that you don't have to give your whole self in order to get what it is that's in half.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my definition of
Okay.
womanhood.
Okay. All right, Jordan. What about
You
you?
don't have to accept.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what was the last thing that you said, Jaleesa?
Oh no, I was saying I feel like you don't have to give all of yourself in order to get what you deserve. And I think a lot of young women, even if you had like a mother in your life to show you what to do or whatever like that, that's something that you have to bring yourself.
Right.
Like I don't care what somebody tells you or what advice you get until you go through that little heartache or that break and pain. Like you'll never understand.
Right. Right. I was just at a high school a couple weeks ago, and we were talking to it was like 5 classes of high school seniors, and that was the very thing that we were telling them to encourage them about finding their own path. So we were saying you're going to get advice from people, from family members, from friends. You have to develop your own way. You have to develop your own path. Like I told them my grandmother wanted me to be a pharmacist. I don't want to be a pharmacist. I ended up in surgery. I like it a whole lot better. If I had gone that path,
Right.
it would have been her path for me and not my own. So my womanhood now, and I'm really just now coming into me and who these past 4 years of being here.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just really coming into April and who I am, because for so many years it was who everybody else wanted me to be and how I needed to be for other people. So now it's like, wait a minute, I'm doing this for me. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, I want to do this. And no, you can't have all my time. No, I'm taking my time for myself. So you can, like you said, you can have what you want and do the things that you want to do without sacrificing yourself completely. And that's important to recognize that. So Jordan, we'll pose the same question to you about womanhood and your perspective and definition of it.
So for me, womanhood is strength. And that is a perspective that took me a really long time to reach, because going into engineering as a young woman, going into STEM as a young woman, I often felt that the things that made me a really great woman as far as being like empathetic and warm and nurturing made me a bad engineer. And so I would constantly try to suppress any hint of what I thought was weakness in myself. And the more that I lived and stepped outside of my shell and what I thought I was supposed to be, the more I realized that the things I often consider to be my weaknesses are actually my greatest strengths.
Wow. Yeah. It's when you try to go against the grain or go against to how you are feeling or want to, that is such a struggle. When you just be yourself, you find the most peace and you find that things flow a whole lot better when you don't fight against who you are. And with going into STEM as a woman and in a predominantly male dominated field and area where it's just so much testosterone. It's crazy. And they look at you like, oh, what are you doing here? Well, I'm just as smart, if not smarter than you, but I have an extra little piece to me that make me better because you're just strict. This is what you're going to do. And I have the other aspect to add into it. What about you, Mo? You're not going to
Absolutely.
sit back and
Well,
just look.
I was gonna say, to piggyback off of that, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I felt that as far as, the food industry. That was one of the things that kind of catapulted me into, my own business. Um, I love working. I'm a very people oriented person, but oddly enough, the kitchen is a male dominated place, although we're quote unquote traditionally supposed to be in it. um, and knowing the history of Black women in the kitchen and what we know, um, sometimes I'm confused as to why we're questioned about certain things. Not that we are, you know, no, in certain instances we are masters in our own way, and we have had a huge imprint on American cuisine that we're not really given credit for. So if nothing else, I feel like it's resilience.
Mm,
um I feel like as a woman you have no choice but to be resilient.
mhm,
um I know that I am constantly trying to find that soft place, because I don't always want to be strong. I want to, like Jordan was saying, be able to identify my weaknesses and be all right with them. Be able to fill the spaces where my weaknesses are with other people where that's their strengths. So then at no point in time do I feel like I'm weak. I feel like womanhood has a lot to do with camaraderie and sisterhood as well. I don't feel like you can 100% be a woman if you're not looking after your sister, empowering your sister, uplifting your sister. Like I feel like it is a duty. It's not also always, your brother's keeper, but you are also your sister's keeper. And
absolutely.
I am enjoying spaces like this. Like I told you guys, I'm blessed to have um even my own personal business team that's full of women, where we can be honest and open and vulnerable with each other, but then also continue to inspire and empower each other in our own individual paths to do what we're called to do. So yeah,
Mm,
resiliency and sisterhood is definitely how I guess I would.
right. Well, let's read. I want to read this comment from Madeline. She says, I really
Mhm.
love this discussion. In reference to following one's own path, it can be hard for women who are infantilized by family or their community. Psychologically makes it hard to mentally break away into one's own path. Many grown women are treated as little girls who aren't smart enough or strong enough to know what they want. All other older generations of women who may be jealous also cut down younger, ambitious women who have more opportunity to aspire and succeed in areas that were not open to women of the past. And that is so true. And some older generation women, I really don't fault them too much because they were going based on how they were raised and what they were taught was right. And then they don't realize, okay, things change, we progress, we grow, we do so much more. And now we're coming into we're being seen as oh my God, they're so smart, they're so intuitive, they are so business minded. Look at the business owners. I mean, all of us have businesses and we're successful and doing things. And it's unfortunate there are some women that go through this, but I think it's important to find that core. You got to have a core, one or two women that you can be vulnerable with, that can really be your support and help you to get to that next level, because none of us can do it by ourselves. I don't care what you think, how much of a superwoman you are, you still need some help.
Absolutely.
Jaleesa talked on that about having the help and needing that support.
Well, I also think it depends on the way you frame the traits that make someone successful. So, for example, with engineering, people often think that men make better engineers because they're able to separate their feelings from their thoughts easier, because they're less social, because they care more about logic than they do about emotion or left brain versus right brain kind of thinking. But if you think of it from a design perspective, women are typically more empathetic. They're better at talking to people, better at truly understanding a problem, which makes them better designers because they can understand the need and develop a true solution easier than someone who just completely looks at something at face value.
Right. Absolutely. I agree 100%, because that extra piece, you mean that, like, men, they just go in and it's going to be this 1, 2, 3 and done. And then the people are standing there like, but wait a minute, I have something else that I need to say. Oh no, we're just going to do it this way, this way. But we are going to take the time to investigate and get deeper and then come up with something that's going to work for everyone as a whole, where instead of just doing the 1, 2, 3, that makes that extra, that piece there is vital to it, that we
Yeah.
are just not giving enough credit for.
And there is a time and a place for that, that very staunch 1, 2, 3. And which is why I feel like, you know what I mean? You've got to, everybody put your aces in your places. Everyone's got to know their lane and their
Right.
space. You know what I mean? And when you know
Right.
that, then everybody can work better as a team. You know what I mean? If the quarterback is over here trying to play the tight end position, that's not going to work out the way that they would like it to when
Right.
when it comes to scoring points. So, Smack has said, womanhood to me is being my natural self and loving myself. I now have courage and strength that I never knew I had. We are the backbone of many things in this world, and we need to own it. That is so
Absolutely.
true.
Absolutely.
So true. So true. Yeah. So I was like, you had asked a question. Yeah.
You're being all quiet. Jump on in here. We want your perspective too. Hello, baby.
Yeah, I feel the same way y'all do, though. I don't think we give ourselves enough credit at all. But then I feel like it also boils down to like how you said, we all need somebody, but how can the person that's always trying to do it by themselves need somebody if they don't even realize they need help?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We gotta and I was bad about that, trying to do everything myself and not asking for help, and that prideful thing, like, oh, I got this. I don't want to show any kind of weakness. But now it's like, no, I need some help. I can't do that. I'm in a position now where I need help. Like, I need you to help me. I'm strong in so many areas, and I recognize that. But right up and through here, this little season, yeah, I'm gonna need some help with that. And I'm not going to allow it to make me feel some kind of way, like, oh, you need some help, you're not as strong as you thought you were. No, I'm actually stronger because I recognize that I need the help. So it's important to recognize that and to do that and give ourselves, we don't give ourselves the credit. We have to. So in this space and in time in both of your lives, how do you inspire other women? What is it that you do to inspire them, to get them going to reach their goal or achieve anything that they want to? Anybody can go first, doesn't matter.
One thing that I really love is coming alongside other women who have an idea for a business and know how to do that specific thing really well, but don't understand the business side of it as much. Because I was a business owner, I did a lot of freelance work, so I understand a lot of those components. So being able to come alongside women and encourage them to go for it, but also give them the tools that they need to succeed in that is something I really love to do.
Wow. What about you, Jaleesa? I think,
Me?
yeah, can you?
Oh, I'm sorry. My computer keeps breaking in and out. Um, I personally like Morgan. I'm not a shy person. Like I'm the one that's in the room. Like, okay, you got these two sitting up here, and I'm like, excuse me. Gonna know, like, closed mouths don't get fed. Like, you have to talk to people and listen. They say you have one mouth and ears for a reason. Like, you never know what the outcome could be because you chose not to open your mouth or say anything, or chose not to listen to somebody that had something to say. My favorite thing I always tell people is everybody be like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. No, it's what you know, not who you know, because you can know somebody that don't know nothing. And then where would you be?
Right, right, absolutely. Absolutely. Smack said also said that past trauma in our lives, you have to deal with that in order to soar properly. And that's true. You know, I'm a prime witness of past trauma that haunted me and affected my life for over 30 years that I never did deal with. And I thought I was good and I knew I wasn't. And I wouldn't allow me to get to where I needed to be, but I had to deal with that. So we have to deal with, and then put me in a really vulnerable state that I didn't want to be in because I wanted to keep that like, nope, no, I don't want to say anything. I want to keep that hidden and I'll just deal with that on my own. And like, no, it just blew up and I don't want that. So we pass trauma, and not everybody's had trauma and dealt with things. We've all had our specific stuff, but you know, dealing with those things that have hindered us in the past or affected us, we got to deal with that to move forward. You have to.
Absolutely.
Yep.
One thing,
I feel like as a mom, that's something that you also have to do. You have to clear that space for yourself so that you can end up being the type of parent that your child needs. Not that you really want to be, but the type of parent that your child actually needs.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
one thing that was really hard for me to learn, and I still work on it every day, is not to work from your wounds. Because if you work from your wounds, you're going to consistently be reopening them, trying to prove yourself. And every single time you don't meet that goal, it brings you right back down to that trauma and says, well, this is why I didn't meet that goal, because this happened to me. And so learning to work out of purpose and not from that wound, and not getting your revenge through success, getting your success through your purpose.
You are dropping some wisdom. I'm sitting here like, okay, don't work from your wounds. I was up writing this stuff down. Amazing. Yes. Because that's
Absolutely.
the wrong kind of fuel. Because then when you don't meet your mark, like you say, you blame yourself and it's because of this. Well, that happened so long ago. No, that's not because of that. What else? Let's investigate what other reason why this may have gone this way and just move forward. So Madeline says,
Exactly.
honestly, for me, it's in giving. I happen to have an excess of different types of materials because of multiple hobbies. So Inspire can include support. Some people don't begin because they don't have resources or materials or business savvy. Art costs. If I have paints, canvases, etc., that I don't need, I give them. If I have advice from being a previous vendor or artist at an exhibition, I'll share that. If I know a venue that has free or discount vendor tables, I will connect them. And that's what it's about.
Yes.
Connections. You know, you don't hoard it all for yourself because you can't use it all. Here, let me help you get to the next level. I love doing that. That women's empowerment
Absolutely.
stuff. If I can, I love pushing people. So if I see you starting something and I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect for you and you have the drive for it, what do I need to do? Because I'm like going to be behind you, pushing you because I want you to get there. We all can win. all of us.
I tell people, if you don't want to own a business, don't be my friend, because I'm a figure out how something you do is a business. Okay, everything is a business, and I'm always in people's ear like, you
Yeah,
know, you can make money off of that, right?
exactly.
You know you can, and I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. There are some people who are honestly meant to be employees, and that's not a bad thing either.
Uh-huh.
But in all honesty, if it's really in you, and like Jordan started out saying, you know, when it comes to really doing what you love and now working in purpose, then that's when you're like, okay, you know what? Yep, that's it. And it takes some time. You know what I mean? We have all been in a lot of different areas before we've gotten to our quote unquote niche. And that doesn't mean that we stop growing here just because it was like, oh, okay, I found my hole. We don't just sit here in this, you know what I mean? We keep making this and keep building on this. And now we really have this foundation for this legacy that we're wanting to be able to create and leave.
You're right. I want to pose this question because all four of us, entrepreneurs, some of us are parents, you know, some are wives. I'm not there yet, but I will be. I'm coming
this
along.
year. This year.
I already declared it. But how do you get that balance? How do you have that balance? Because we have to have time for ourselves. We just can't devote everything to business, everything to kids and family. How do y'all specifically develop that balance for yourself so you can have your mental clear? Jaleesa, we can't hear you. Did you?
There's no balance. No.
You say no?
I said my scale is good. There's no balance.
Oh God.
I'm trying to figure it out. Yes. It comes together sooner, but
there's a balance. I found a balance in having to set boundaries. And that's really what it is. It's really setting boundaries, knowing and being connected to literally like your core. I've gotten to a place now when I get asked something, I let it just sit for a minute. My dad used to always say to me, if someone proposes something to you and you don't have a minute to think about it, then don't do it. And I used to be like, huh? And he'd be like, no, you really need a minute to think about it. Well, it wasn't until I realized that really think about it, it wasn't overanalyze per se, but it's really, how do I really feel about this? Is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that I can actually do? Because sometimes we get asked of things that we're not honestly capable of doing. And we, out of our trauma, working from our wounds, will try to do stuff that we know we're not really capable of, but that's because we're hoping for another result. You know what I mean? We're trying to, you know, work abandonment issues. We're trying to people please still. You know what I mean? We're trying to still placate in those spaces. So I think that we need to really take a minute, and if it's a no, let it be a no. If it's meant for you, then it's not something that you have to chase. I've gotten to places where, you know, can you do X, Y, and Z? The old Morgan, the not growing Morgan would have said, yeah, and would have figured out how to, even if it meant I had to cut off my arm and attach it to something else to get it done. I'm not doing that.
Right.
Get someone else to do it. That is my motto for this year. And it's in a good way. Like Jordan was saying, she likes to be able to empower women by being able to say, hey, listen, this is what I want to do, but I don't have the wisdom behind it. Be expecting a phone call from me. We're going to talk, Jordan. But anyway, like, you know what I mean? Let's do this, because if now this is something for, and I'm real from a business standpoint, I would love to sit down with Jordan and have a conversation about where we feel like our business is headed, and she can be able to do that. Why not?
Right.
why not? Like, I don't have that expertise, and I'm not going to try to have that expertise. I know a lot as far as business is concerned. I know how to run a kitchen. I know how to keep inventory. I know how to do a lot of things. But then there's also a lot of like marketing. I don't know squat about nobody's marketing. I've been on commercials. That's as far as that can go. You know what I mean? But when you find people who are really into their spaces, that's how you find that balance. And then it's honestly, it's being gracious to yourself.
Yeah.
My girl posted this awesome thing on her blog. Honestly, she's on our roster coming up as well. But she has this reward system for us. Instead of like, you always see reward systems and little charts for children, but this is an award system for adults. And it was a little bit more parent oriented, but I loved it. It was like, they did, I did, and then there was a reward. In the reward column, it was like a whole bunch of like different chocolate bars. And then they did, it was like wet the bed, left the sippy cup behind the couch for 2 months. You know what I mean? Woke up at 2:30 and needed some needs to be met, you know, and then it was the I did for the wet the bed. It was something like told them that it was okay and reassured them that mistakes happen and that they can be able to use the potty next time. And boom, you get a Snickers. I was like, this is genius.
Wow.
Because for someone like me who is very critical of myself, who wants to, I mean well, I beat myself up. And that's very counterproductive. So this is a way to kind of, in the words of my therapist, he says, you can carrot yourself. You know what I mean? What's a good way to get a donkey to do something? You want to beat it with a stick or you want to give it a carrot? You're going to give it a carrot. So he's like, carrot yourself.
Wow.
And that's how you can be able to find that balance.
Oh my, look at that.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
I'm therapy.
I'm therapy. I'm absorbing all this. Like, yeah. Because I was like that when things didn't flow and were smooth. I would beat myself up like, oh my God, look at this. This is so out of place and it's not where it's supposed to be. And you didn't get everything done on your to-do list today. And it's like, but now I'm not going to kill myself. I'm trying to live a long time. So stressing myself out, I don't want to do that. I'm going to get what I can done. I'm going to take my time doing it. Whatever needs to be done quickly and expediently, I'm going to do that. And the other stuff, I'm going to let it go. Just get it done when I can. Let it go. Yeah.
And it's really
There's
hard
a
to
thin
say
line
that.
that lies between what you're trying to.
Say that again, Jaleesa.
I was saying that line actually is drawn between the fact that it's like, do you continue to beat yourself up, or do you go and ask for help? And you're more afraid of that than you are than the one that you're giving yourself. I think that's why people are like, no, I'll do it myself, and then you're so hard on yourself, trying to avoid the fact that you think whoever you're going to ask for help is going to be hard on you, and that's not even the case, and you would never know because you never asked for help.
That's so true because we're so worried about what they're thinking and what they're going to say, and they just want to genuinely help. And you are just killing yourself by putting these preconceived notions of what they're going to say, and that is not the case. And we got to get out of that.
Rejection is real, but like I said, if it's not for you, or if you're asking somebody a question because you genuinely need help and their response is not helpful, they weren't meant to help you.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Say thank you and keep it moving. Because guess what? That wasn't where you were going to get what you needed. So now you don't have to waste your time here. And now you can move on to someone or something that'll be better serving for what you're looking for.
Yeah. And all of that just plays these tricks in your mind, and then the whole health and wellness goes out the window because then you're going to be looking for Jordan. What can I have to calm me down? What can I do? What kind of tea can I make to calm me down? Because you're just like everywhere. I think I might almost be at that place, so I might need to know what I need to make into a tea, a toddy, something that I can.
No, you are so right. Okay, so Jordan, I know you'll appreciate this too. I was like, Jaleesa, you'll find this funny. So I saw this lady who was talking about food and how food is connected also to nervous system responses,
Mhm.
and how when you have emotional trauma, when you have some childhood issues that need to be resolved, people tend to gravitate towards sweets. And it's because something at the time was given to them, and it's like your reward system to be able to cope with what's going on. Well, also crunchy as well is one of those things. So I found out in watching this, whenever I start craving crunchy things, it's a stress. I'm stressed. I don't actually want to go eat pretzels and potato chips. Like, I want to relieve some stress. And that's the only way that I know how to actually do it. So, I think that that's something that, we can be aware of a little bit more when it comes to just exactly are we feeling, and then how exactly do, we handle it.
Right, right.
And if you look at it from a neurochemical perspective, those salty, sweet, crunchy snacks produce a dopamine release that gives you that reward, gives you that good feeling. Yes, I should continue doing that. And then not only that, your gut is your second brain. 80% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. So if your gut health is not right, your brain health isn't going to be right either.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
absolutely.
Oh, God, we got to get our gut together. We got to do this like ASAP. I need it together.
Something.
Madeline said, what scares me about business is accountability and ups and downs. It's a gamble. I begin to resent all the work put in if I don't get success, but some people have to wait and proceed because it could happen 5 years later. Perseverance. Absolutely. My daughter is 21 and she started a boutique a year and a half ago, like maybe right in the midst of COVID, she started a boutique. And the first thing I told her, I said, listen, do not get discouraged if this doesn't take off immediately. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it happens quickly. You just got to market it. You got to be patient and you just got to put in the work. Well, it didn't take off like she wanted it to. And the next thing I know, I got all these clothes in my living room. And she's like, I'm just going to no. We're going to sell this. You have spent your money. You're going to push through. So then she stopped. And then she wanted to start again. And I was 100% in support. She did a photo shoot at the house. I was one of the models, and she had her friends. I'm like, we're going to do this. I want to help push you. And then, and there again, you drop the ball. But you got to have that perseverance. If you have it in you and you have the heart for it, you can't give up. So, Madeline, you just don't resent it. Just put the time in, little steps, and get some women behind you that are going to help push you, because there could be an area like Mo was talking about that's not your expertise, but they can help you.
I
Exactly.
also think
Or go ahead, Jordan.
I also think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they start a business is not aiming for sustainability from the start. So you don't have to throw it all in your business, meaning resources, savings, everything at the beginning. You want to throw your whole self into it, your mind, your beliefs, your purpose, that it's going to happen. But there's a lot of value in taking things slowly and trying one thing and seeing if that works, and then slowly building on that until you
Yep.
get to a place where your entire day can be your business. Because it's
Yeah.
really easy to get discouraged if you throw everything into it and then it doesn't come to fruition like you expect. And most things in life don't come to fruition immediately. So just
Yeah.
aiming for that sustainability from the start.
Absolutely. Little, just day by day. And it's constant planning and replanning and tweaking this and changing that. Though it makes sense. I can't stop what I'm doing now to put all of my, all of my attention and my energies into my consulting business. It's now growing now, but it's not to where it can sustain me, because then I'm going to be homeless for real. I can't do that, but I'm still going to
Right.
work it and do what I need to do. But I want to keep this other job over here. That's my steady money, but I haven't given up on my dream. I'm still going to do it. I'm still working towards it. So that's the key. Jordan, what you said is not let's not put all your eggs in this one basket right now. Let's put one egg here and I'm still going to work. And then as it grows, there's another egg I'm putting in here. Then you're going to act stuff crazy, and then you're not going to want to do anything. Like, I don't want to try any other business. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I'm just stay right here and do this. And you're selling yourself short. I always tell people there are a group of people that are assigned to each one of us that we are to support and nurture and help get to the next level. We all were created with that. And if we don't do what we're supposed to do and we just give up and stop, what's going to happen to the people that are waiting for us to help push them and help support them and encourage them? We've now just aborted our assignment. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to abort my assignment. So let me just do it this way, pace myself, and get where I want to be. And then the next thing you know, Madeline, you'll be back on here saying, oh my God, I was on here on March the 7th, and this is what happened, and you got some this, and here I am. And everything will be just awesome. And
No, you're absolutely right. You never know. Sometimes your obedience and your constant movement opens up doors for other people.
absolutely.
So, and don't always just think that because things are moving slowly, there isn't any kind of progress.
Right.
Sometimes what you're doing is you're learning a skill, you're learning a certain task, you're learning something that you need in order to be able to build. So although it seems like the progression isn't, I thought I would already be, making six figures already. The reality is, depending on what, and to piggyback off of what Jordan was saying, depending on what it is that you are offering, you have to also realize that sometimes what you're offering isn't always in season.
Yeah.
For instance, what Jordan and I do right now, people aren't always pregnant. So, I mean, it goes in waves with people. So there are always pregnant people, but one person can only be pregnant one time a year. So at this point in time, just because someone isn't buying from you today, or it seems like, you didn't get a bite today, that consistency of showing that you are here, that you are present, and that you're committed to your business, people buy into you. If you have a really good product or a really good service, the service or the product sells itself.
Yeah.
What people are doing is buying into you. So that's, more of like what Jordan was saying, you want to also invest you into the business. It doesn't always have to be monetary resources so that it can actually be sustainable and then be able to move. Because to believe it or not, you got to move with the times. I'm in food. Food has changed drastically in the last 2 years. I can't think about my business the way that I was 2 years ago.
Right.
Because in reality, most people don't want to go sit down anymore.
Yeah.
And in reality, where am I going to actually find some really good help? The help in the food industry is few and far between. It's almost a lost art now.
Yeah.
So we're starting from the beginning. I like to pour into the youth by teaching cooking skills, and then by also coming back behind that with some entrepreneurial and managerial skills so that they can be able to take that into some other realm. You know what I mean? Whether it's working for themselves or at least somewhere else. And if I can get some of those youth to be able to get that by the time they're 18, the food industry will be able to really rise and thrive. And they'll also be able to make good money at a time where they have a lot less responsibility and they can be able to move around differently than, when you've got family and kids. Nobody wants to be working 80 hours when you got all that going on. But when, when you're 19, 20, you can afford to do that. If, if you've chosen at that point in time to not have children, to be able to move in that direction. And now you can be able to financially get to a different place so that you can prepare for what's coming next as well.
Right. And what you said kind of piggyback off Jordan. So Jordan was talking about being in STEM and how, it's male dominated, but we have that caring aspect and we have the great ideas and we know how to do things. We have that extra piece. Then you said they're buying into you. So your personality, how you interact with people, how you talk to people, they may not even be interested in, she's talking about art. They may not even be interested in the art, but because of how you entreated them, how they are just bought into you, they will buy your art just because of you.
Yeah.
So, or how you posture yourself and how you are you're excited about what you're doing and how you entreat people, they're going to do stuff regardless. Like, really, this is what you want to do here. I don't want to buy your art, but here I would like to support you in some, here's something to get some more supplies or buy some canvas or whatever the case may be. Here, I'll pay your registration for to be a vendor at a major event. That's still a win-win situation. So don't ever lose that edge. Don't ever lose that caring nature and just being personable. That goes a long way in entrepreneurship. But oh my gosh, look at the time. Look at the time.
Oh
This
my goodness. We could go on forever. We're gonna have to have you again. We're gonna have to have you back on again, Jordan and Jaleesa. Look, I was like, she probably ended up having to do another order. But either that or the little technical difficulty. But yeah, today has been absolutely great.
Yes.
Absolutely great.
Jordan, so happy that you could make it on. You have, yeah, we gonna have to stay connected. We're gonna be connected through Mo. That way I can figure out how I need to get myself together. There's some things that I want to do for my body from the inside out. Like, I've worked on my mind and my heart and all of that, but I need to work on this physical health. I'm not bad now. Don't get me wrong, not bad, but there's always room for improvement. So I might need your services.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
listen, we have an all-star lineup that we're putting, together. So I was like, we will definitely put this one.
I know we're
on
like
the list too.
into April. We even have some in May, like already. We just keep, and that's great because then we don't have to figure out, okay, who's coming this week? It's already laid out. All we just have to do is boom, get our flyer done, and that's it. But Jordan, do you have any final words that you want to say? Anything? There's Jaleesa. She's back.
As far as final words, I would just say, aim for harmony, not necessarily balance. If you can feel satisfied with yourself, with the way you're showing up at work, showing up at home, showing up in your business, and all of these things, and even showing up for yourself, that's what really matters. So in all of that, just aim for harmony and look for those people that support those goals and help you find that harmony too.
Absolutely. Well, we are celebrating Women and Health and Wellness Month for the month of March. So that will be every Tuesday. What we are focusing on, those things that will help us to become our better selves, and how we can be there for us, to be there for others, to do those things that we aspire to do and want to do in our lives, healthy and whole. That it's so important to be healthy and whole, not only physically, but mentally as well. So we are here to inspire, to empower, to push women, to support them. Madeline, I hope that you enjoyed the show. I hope you feel supported. I hope you feel encouraged. We here for you, lady. So you can reach out to Mo in her inbox, Morgan Harvey, or come in my inbox, April Green Anderson, and we can help you. We got you. So
absolutely. There's a market for everything.
Oh,
yeah. There are people who are always looking for everything. Sometimes as business owners, we get discouraged because we're like, why is no one buying our stuff? But sometimes we have to take a look around and see who are we, targeting, and then what is our surrounding, and if you're possibly in a place that could not be conducive to what you're doing, take a look and see if this is really what your purpose is and this is what you're supposed to be doing. Take a look and see if there's another location that could be better for what you're trying to do. And you never know, that new start might catapult something else, or you might find out that just that move was what you needed to get you into the groove so that things can, move in the direction that you would like to. But remember to carrot yourself at the end of the day, okay?
That's right. Carrot yourself.
Exactly. Don't beat yourself, carrot yourself.
Right. Exactly. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes.
It feels good to be back. I felt like I was gone forever, and I was only gone just for one show. Like, this is forever.
I surely missed you. Withdrawal just a little bit.
But you did great. Everything was fantastic. So
Thank
next
you.
week, we will continue on with our health and wellness and we will have she has not confirmed, but I know she will because I already told her about it, and she was like, "Oh my God, this sounds great." So we're gonna have a therapist, counselor. We also gonna have Reiki therapists come on. We're gonna have it all for this month. So you're going to be able to learn about some new things, some new practices that you may have heard about, but you're going to get more information about. I have actually have Reiki therapy done. It is absolutely amazing, and I would tell anybody to try it at least once, and you will go back. So yeah, and as a woman who goes to therapy twice a month, hey, I'm full support of therapy, full support. So until next week on this same platform at 7:15, we are going to sign off. Thank you so much, Jordan. Jaleesa, thank you. I know you had to go and get some stuff done, but we're so happy she was on as well.
Yes, thank
with her
you.
presence. So we shall see you, like we'll say, we're going to see you
Exactly. Tuesday.
next Tuesday, 7:15.
Bye.
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 Yeah, I'm so extra. Express myself, I'm next up. Yeah, what more do you say? Coming up. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come up